A Florida man, affectionately nicknamed Lieutenant Dan, made waves during Hurricane Milton by refusing to evacuate his sailboat in Tampa Bay.
Hey, TikTok, how you doing today? Just wanted to give a great shout out to Aiden and Tick.
Big hurricane coming. What are you going to say to the hurricane?
You want me? Come and get me.
So you've probably seen the news over the past couple of days that Florida has been hit with an insane amount of hurricanes. There's even been memes going around online of the hurricane basically saying, no, we're not finished yet. So first you had Hurricane Helene, which was a Category 4 hurricane, and that has been one of the deadliest mainland hurricanes since Hurricane Katrina, and that was all the way back in 2005. And these hurricanes were so bad, it wasn't even just a problem for Florida, but other states as well. I even remember when it was going down, so many people were genuinely concerned for Critical because he lives in Tampa in Florida, and that was basically directly where the hurricane was going to hit. Thankfully, though, he is safe, and surprisingly, he was just doing like normal chill streams, like during the duration of these events happening. I even remember seeing this one clip of like him saying that he's safe and there isn't a problem, and then the power immediately dies afterwards.
For normal atmospheric pressure, there are about 10 metric tons of air bearing down on each square meter of surface. In the strongest hurricanes, there are 9. All I'm seeing is...
And like I said, with other places being hit as well, there was Asheville in North Carolina, which then led to Logan and KSI sending bottles of Prime over there as relief.
I'm hungry as shit, yo. What is this? I don't want this.
And obviously, with how deadly Hurricane Helene has been, it's been really difficult for states to get back on their feet. And then after that as well, you had Hurricane Milton. Now, this was terrifying because it was a Category 5 hurricane, which is basically the worst hurricane imaginable. So this basically means Florida was hit with 2 insanely devastating hurricanes within the past couple of weeks. Now, you're probably thinking, why am I talking about the hurricanes? Because it's basically over now. There's been a lot of things that have happened afterwards, especially my personal favorite, conspiracy theories. So there was a lot of conspiracy theories going around that the hurricanes were actually like manufactured by certain groups, especially as well with the Trump and Carmela election coming up soon. Some people online thought it was suspicious that Florida, a mostly red state, was being hit. And on top of that as well, a lot of people chose to actually stay during the hurricane and not actually leave their home. There was a multitude of reasons for this. The roads were blocked. People couldn't actually afford to leave their house if their house got destroyed.
Wish you all the luck. Where are you located in regards to the hurricane? I will be getting hit almost head on. Everyone in my neighborhood is staying. Almost every single person. Actually, I don't know anyone that left. It was very hard to leave because there was no gas.
A main reason as well being really scummy insurance companies were basically trying their hardest, going through the entire manual to find any kind of loophole they could use to not pay people out. And of course, as well, there were a lot of influencers. There were people that took it upon themselves to put themselves in mortal peril danger, all for the sake of content. And then this led to a really weird situation where you basically had a bunch of influencers traveling down to Florida to like vlog and live stream the hurricane, knowing it would get them clout.
It was a nice run, GG, Shaq. It's my last stream. I'll kick last stream. I'm going out with a bang.
Now, the main reason I'm making this video is because there were a lot of people that chose to stay. Either they wanted to, or they basically had to. But there was one man that has basically became an overnight sensation. Somehow, he could probably start a YouTube channel or do like a merch drop and instantly sell out. And this man is, of course, the OG Florida man, Joseph Melanaski, or as you and the internet probably knows him as, Lieutenant Dan. Now, he started to gain a ton of traction on his TikTok account, JC331, because basically, he was on a mission to stay on his boat and outlast the hurricane. Obviously, you can imagine being on a boat and the hurricane comes from the ocean. It's probably not the safest strat. So the hurricane was heading directly towards Tampa Bay. That is exactly where Lieutenant Dan docked his boat. So the reason why Lieutenant Dan got famous is... okay, stay with me on this. It's similar to the Hawk Tour girl. It was a chance meeting where someone filmed Lieutenant Dan and then got popular, the same as the Hawk Tour girl. I do want to say, by the way, like, that guy who filmed the Hawk Tour girl, I can imagine he is just so tilted because of the fact that he made this girl famous and basically got no clout off it. So there was a guy called Terrence Concannon, and he basically took it upon himself to document what was going on, and that included filming Lieutenant Dan. He actually even started a GoFundMe to help Lieutenant Dan, and it actually surpassed the original goal before Hurricane Milton arrived. So Terrence initially shared a clip of Dan basically saying he was going to like take on the hurricane like it was a 1v1 or something.
You want me? Come and get me.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, the comment section was saying, do not do this. This is the stupidest thing you could ever do in your life. You will probably die. There were also videos as well of this guy helping Dan, like, move the boat so he could live out his hurricane dreams, I guess. I don't understand why Dan is treating like a deadly hurricane like it's Moby Dick or something, like it's something that he needs to conquer. The guy is just so nonchalant about it. There was even clips of him, like, stretching during the storm. So this is obviously when Dan became famous because, again, like, you're trying to survive a hurricane that came from the ocean on a boat. Not the best idea. So how did Dan fare after the hurricane hit? Surprisingly fine. I genuinely thought the story would have broke that he died, you know, just being sucked up, like, through the hurricane. But no, he was fine. Apparently, like, he slept through most of it. And then Terrence also found himself in Tifu's apartment, apparently. So yeah, after Hurricane Helene ran its course, Terrence and Dan were basically really thankful for the GoFundMe, trying to get him a new boat. So that's one hurricane out the way, right? Now we've got Hurricane Milton. Dan did the exact same thing again. He was basically going to stay on the boat and prepare for Hurricane Milton. He even had Dan explain why he's going to stay on the boat when a Category 5 hurricane is about to hit. Now, Hurricane Dan feels like someone that gives you a quest in The Witcher. He does not feel like someone that exists in the real world because this guy has so much lore. He was doing like a tour of the boat that he was living on. And then also he explained the story of how he lost his leg. So now officially Dan has a TikTok account. What does he post? The most TikTok things you can imagine. I'm looking through these now, and this has to be, like, the only example of boomer brain rot I've seen in my life. Like, I get it, right? Like, millennials, Gen Z, brain rot. I get it. Skibbity toilet, Sigma Riz. But what are these filters he's using, bro? And then the following day, Dan was surprised by an actual iconic weatherman, Jim Cantore. And then as well, the Tampa mayor, Jane Castor. And then there was also another viral clip as well of Dan, of the police basically forcing him off the boat because they knew how much of a risk it was. But even then, he's still insisting that this is God's plan, like it's all meant to be. I think this is the worst example I could think of making someone famous, because the problem is, again, like World of T-shirts, he basically has to keep doing the bit, because if he doesn't, he falls off. You know, as soon as he leaves the boat and he goes into a shelter, no one's really going to care anymore. There's nothing interesting there. And then as well, there was actually a false report going around that he actually made it safely into a shelter. Someone lied about that, probably Dan, to get the police off his back, because during that, he was still chilling on the boat. So, what company got involved in this situation, I wonder? It's Kick. Look, man, I'm really sick of talking about Kick. I really am, okay? Every, like, third video I do on this channel, Kick always seems to be involved, and of course, Aiden Ross. So, Aiden had the genius idea of trying to get his viewers to go out and stream the hurricane for $70,000. Obviously, that's an insane amount of money. Doesn't really matter that much if you die, though. One of these streamers, unsurprisingly, was arrested, and then another one was trying to survive the hurricane on an air mattress.
I'm on an air mattress. Listen, we're doing this to entertain the people. You feel what I mean? Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Yo, my umbrella broke. It broke.
And then Aiden probably realized, okay, this isn't a very good look. This will probably backfire on me. Guys, it's a bit. It was a bit, I promise. And then that led to the guy that slept on the air mattress to get really angry because he realized he's not going to get a fat payout from Aiden.
Ross just commented, and he said he's not paying me. What the fuck? What?
So Aiden, unfortunately, heard about Lieutenant Dan, and he did the classic Walter White move. How do I make this all about me?
I did it for me. I liked it. I was good at it.
So he offered Dan $100,000 and a kick deal. Could you imagine Aiden Ross sitting Lieutenant Dan like a boomer down and explaining to him what clip farming is? Now, thankfully, Dan did survive. He's probably going to bag that $100K and that kick deal. But then the thing happened that always happens when you get too famous. People start to look into your past and they really don't like what they find. So one of the first allegations that dropped is later in the month, he actually had a court date because people couldn't actually verify if the boat was his or not, implying that he stole it. And then the year prior, he was allegedly caught sinking someone else's boat. And then in 2022, punching a policeman in the nose.
Well, copper, he punched me in the nose, copper.
He was even arrested at one point under the suspicion that he was going to set a woman on fire. And there was also other really serious allegations, like possible child abuse. But at the time of recording, there hasn't really been much verification on that. There was even a rumor going around that Aiden was going to retract the $100,000 he was going to give Dan and the kick deal. But Aiden himself actually came out and said, no, he's still getting the money. And then he actually did start streaming on Kick, always looking good. And I swear, like, genuinely, the first stream that he had, he just dropped the N-word.
If you want to get back into my good graces, you're going to have to take time. It's going to be a lot of work, and it's going to be hard. Because once I cut you off, you're done.
Sorry.
Look, I get it. Everyone in the comments is going to jump to the Pyrocynical N-word compilation from like 8 years ago that I insanely regret. But dude, come on, like first stream, really? So that's pretty much where the story wraps up so far with Terrence and Dan. I feel like because he's become a kick streamer, we're probably going to be talking about Lieutenant Dan again. There is no doubt about that. And obviously, on a more serious note as well, there is genuinely a threat of more hurricanes hitting this year because there's already been an insanely high presence already. Obviously, hope everyone is safe, everyone is protected. I really do feel that the South at this point should just get a break because like 2 hurricanes in such a short period of time is crazy. But yeah, I guess we'll just keep an eye and see where Dan's kick career goes. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure there'll be many clippable moments.